marble racing is no stranger to danger as we head to the other side of the tracks, to the Southside Marble Raceway. A 16-meter about course, taking about 30 seconds on average to lap alone. And it's got two long sectors, first of which has a highway dotted in graffiti. You see all four lanes there covered in the names of marbles and other fun shapes. It's become a tradition here at the Southside Marble Raceway for fans to come out and draw their favorite marbles right there on the track before race day. Certainly is a beautiful tradition, and that is some nice artwork from some of the fans. Championship standings, here we go. Octane at the top, 26 points, winning the first race, and Crimson Lady struggling a little bit down in 6th. Qualifying will proceed in the reverse order of the current standings, meaning that Tigger will go first and Octane will go last. And he is off already, dodging to the left side of that graffiti highway and heading through into the underbridge and to the left side of the track here. The Sector 1 ends right here as we cross back over to the other side, and Sector 2 comes at the short Muller corner and into this split area where that balance beam in the center has been removed from today's race. It was found by the officials that it just gave too much of an advantage for marbles that were able to balance upon it, and that needs to be balanced itself if it comes back in future races. So here we go to Goat. Second up here to race, finished 20th, of course, in the first race. Not a great showing for Goat, who actually had a first place finish in race 6 of season 1. But he's taking the Muller corner nice and fast, dodges to the right side of that balance beam as he hits that divider and comes across the line with a solid 28.81. That's P1. And he really undercut Tigger there. And then we'll be up to Luminous to try to take another provisional pole. If you remember, the winner from Season 1 in Race 2 was actually Quicksilver. Crimson Lady did not come in and get her 3 wins in a row quite yet. That was races 3, 4, and 5. So we'll see if Quicksilver can pull things together for this race 2 as well. Luminous slowing down there on the backstretch, crossed the line at a snail's pace, but still somehow able to usurp second place from Tigger. And now Trixie dodging to the right off the highway, then coming back to center as she rolls out. That's a decent way to start. Definitely want to try to stay centered on the graffiti highway so you don't have to hit any of the barriers coming out of it, which some marbles have already done. But she did struggle a little bit through that 180-degree hairpin, and the speed has slowed. Outside line there of the Muller corner and hits the lip middle on the balance beam divider, and that's going to lose a couple of seconds there for her, and she crosses just under Luminous, 31.5, sorry. And, well, could have done better for sure. Victoria's Secret left through the highway and here into the back area. A wide hairpin to go through at first, and then a banked smaller hairpin, followed by another wide, not even a hairpin at that point, that's so wide you have a whole piece of track in between. And again, going to that right side of the beam. Not many marbles able to dodge left inside, which looks like a shorter line, but Victoria's Secret does take provisional pole. 28.21 on the time, and that will be the number to beat for Duchess. Remember, a veteran from Season 1. Fast through the first couple of hairpins. Here comes the banked turn. And she takes it all right, a little bit wobbly out of it on those first couple of track lengths, but still able to stay straight and true. You can see that pit lane on that one piece is blocked off. As remember, with the competition caution back in the first season, which has been removed due to a recalibration of qualifying structuring. And Duchess will slot in 31.22. Unfortunately, nothing impressive, and I think the downhill started as she came out of that one hairpin. And Marbulus Orontius out there. I remember complaining about pronouncing that name full in the first season, and now it's been shortened to Marbulus, and I can't help but say the full name out loud. Marbulus Arantia is certainly a commanding name out there in the Racing Marble League community. Marbulus, though, again taking that right line a little bit slower, coming across. P3 is his, 30.24. One of 3 marbles to undercut 31. And almost by a full second. Sinatra rolling out there, a nice clear and blue marble. Get a little bit of blue marble gang early on in the qualifiers. And we'll see how that holds up over the course of the next few races. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, pretty good run right there. Takes the inside line. I don't know if that will be any faster. It looks like it is a tiny bit, and that proves to be right there. 28.91 for Sinatra. Almost got P1 right there. Just came up a few hundredths of a second, or tenths of a second short. And, well, blue marbles are rolling as fast as they can today. Two-toed. Out there on the track through that banked hairpin. Did a little bit better than some of the previous marbles as staying straight out of the turn. And he dodges left through that larger 90-degree turn. Takes the right side of the beam. And ends up slowly rolling to the end, bounding off the barriers and coming across P5. Not bad, still under 31 seconds, but could not do any better. Wild Canuck, who, remember, didn't finish very well in race 1, but certainly has the motivation to turn things around in this race here. And as I say that, he turns around that banked hairpin pretty well. And he does hit off a lip on the side there, takes the outside line of the Muller corner. The inside line has been very, very difficult to reach for marbles today here in the qualifiers. He crosses with provisional pole. That's a way to turn things around for Wild Canuck. And he's going to be happy about that, and hopefully he can turn that into something exciting in today's race. What about Zero, though? Zero finished first in the tryouts. And if you just went by the tryouts, you'd say Zero is the second best racer behind Crimson Lady. Let's see if he can keep that up here. Again, the outside line of the Muller corner slides right into the right side of that balance beam, and he'll bounce towards the line. Looks a little bit slow, and he does come in only in 5th. Still not bad. He's undercutting 31, which really seems to be a good mark. But with all the marbles that have now hit the board, I think undercutting 30 is going to be better for these racers. Quicksilver, who won this same race in Season 1, definitely a different track, but maybe the number matters. Maybe race 2 is where Quicksilver shoots out and becomes the racer he really is, but not with that kind of racing right there. Hit off the lip of that middle barrier, could not decide which way he wanted to go, and that cost him some seconds, and P10 belongs to him. Almost dropped out of the top 10 right there. That is not a good way to qualify. 31.27 for Quicksilver, and for a veteran who has even won a race in the Racing Marble League, and that's not really a good time to see. Predator slowing down here through that backstretch, and he rounds that wide hairpin, and he will take the inside line of that Muller corner, something we haven't seen a lot of today. Does hesitate at the barrier, but we'll see if that inside line does him any good. It seems like it won't. It's already 31.32, and he will have the worst time so far in today's qualifiers. It just looked like he couldn't gain out of any speed out of the balance beam area. And that is tough to see, but a racer like Predator, he might be able to make it up in the main race. Polyonics won the first race ever for the Racing Marble League, and I will say that is something to be proud of. I'm hoping to see Polyonics have a resurgence in this season, maybe even today's race. 26-27 on the clock. He's not going to qualify high. Can he get under 31? No, just slots in above Predator, and that's where that will end. Really tough on Polyonics, and the resurgence might be still a couple of races away. But well, let's switch back over to the rookies. We got Blizzard out there. And he seems to be taking the corners a little bit smoother. Ooh, no trouble there on the backstretch under the bridge back across to Sector 2. He did not bounce over to the left like most marbles do, and he's going to be really fast, coming in P1, undercutting 28 by a good 0.3 of a second, and that's what you want to see. And I tell you what, it's all about the fact that he did not bounce off the wall there on the backstretch coming back under the highway, and honestly, that's really the key to undercutting 28 here in the time slots. El Sol, let's see if he can do the same thing. Look at him round the corner there, but see, he bounces off of that right side as he comes under the highway, and that does lose you speed and positioning, and it will affect him here. Still a very good time of 29 about, 0.48 to get specific, and it will come in 6th. But that bump off the wall does hurt you in the qualifiers. Crimson Lady won the qualifiers in the first race. How will she do today? Is she gonna bump off the wall? No, she kind of floats off the wall. That's a new strategy we haven't seen today. Did move off that wall, but didn't really bump hard through it. What will she do? She will get provisional pole, and not even by a little bit, almost by a full second, 27.15. And Crimson Lady might set a precedent of winning all the qualifiers 2 in a row. She might have right now, unless Serpent Smart and the 5 other marbles to come can usurp that top spot. Serpent Smart, a little bit slower under that highway. You can see it's already at 21.22. He is still rolling fast, but he hits that left side, and he's having a struggle coming through that final turn. He crosses, and he is P8. Still not as bad as some of the other racers as he undercuts that 30-second mark. But still not as good as he would like to have done. Serpent Smart, really good with other marble racing, as he really rose up the ranks in the first race and finished pretty high up in 5th. Accidental Genius, taking that left side of the bend, but really getting slammed against the wall right there and slowed down quite a bit. 31.32. Oh, and that's got to be rough. I don't know if that is the slowest time out there, but it's close to it. And I'm sorry, by the way, Serpent Smart finished 4th in the previous race. And it will be Rampage rolling out there right now, 10-11, as he banks around that hairpin pretty well, but bobbles a little bit through the later lengths. What will he do? Takes right down the side there, inside line of the Muller corner. Oh, but no! He rolls right across the Muller corner. Does not even see those barriers. He's still rolling well, though. He's going to finish high in the positions, and he does get P5. Maybe if he had taken that inside Muller corner line, he would have not struggled as much in the standings and been able to even get up to P1 or 2. But P5 is still respectable, and Octane, the victor from race 1. A lot of pressure on him to keep up the good work. Ooh, slow around that couple of 90s. He does take the middle Muller corner line, something we don't see a lot. Banks off the middle of that section and ends up on the inside. He looks like he has not much speed as he crosses the line with a disappointing P17. Not good to see from Octane, but Crimson Lady now has won 2 qualifiers here in Season 2, and I'm sure she's going to want to take the next 4 if she can. The coming race will be 20 laps, and we hope for a lot of passing. We hope for a lot of excitement as the race kicks off. Crimson Lady at pole position as the marbles get rolling, and Crimson Lady moves to the left side and loses out immediately. It is Rampage and Zero to come out of the top, followed by Wild Canuck as they head to that banked hairpin for the first time. Rampage still trying to stay ahead of Zero as the gap continues to narrow. Zero takes the inside line of that corner but can't get around. They both dodge to the outside here, and it will be Rampage still leading the charge through the first lap, and Marbulus finally lodging himself in there in second. They dodge out onto the highway across the graffiti art, And it still is Marbulus now who takes the lead. Heading to that bank turn, we see Marbulus still trying to pull ahead, but Rampage rams back in and now separates quite a bit into the second lap here. Muller corner, not good for Rampage. He bounds off the inside of the barrier and ends up slowing down quite a bit and keeping Zero backwards as well. Crimson Lady in 5th now. She is not happy with her first performance and certainly doing everything she can to make up that ground. It is Marbulus leading the pack right now. We see El Sol there coming up on Crimson Lady back in 7th. And actually does get around her. Crimson Lady struggled out of that bank hairpin. Wild Canuck dropped back from the start. Duchess, Sinatra down into 10th. And also Blizzard and Goat, who have made their way into the top 5. Goat really could use a more solid race today. Did not finish well in race 1. It is Marbulus, though, really making good separation and getting some clearance. Rampage now trying to come back with some speed, running through the hairpin really fast, right on top of Marbulus. He goes to the inside, but slows down. Marbulus smooth through that Muller corner, and no problem there, but Rampage still trying to ram into him once again, but he can't get around. And on Rampage, all he's doing is losing his own momentum as he keeps gaining on Marbulus and making very, very bad moves. And the separation between Rampage and the next marbles of Zero and El Sol and even Goat have been quite wide. Zero trying to push through and make that ground back up, but he's struggling to keep ahead of El Sol. El Sol going to the outside line of that Muller corner very smooth through that bend, and he will get around Rampage and even maybe Zero, who has now jumped to 2nd place. Marbulus trying to stay out of that commotion, though, as he wants to keep that lead. And set a good win for himself. He has never won a race in the Racing Marble League, even having more experience than the likes of Octane. Zero, El Sol, and even Rampage now making it back up. Rampage back to 2nd place really quickly, as he was able to pass about 3 marbles right there to the inside line of that balance area. We call it the balance beam, even though the balance beam is closed today, but the feature is still the same name, even without the actual balancing involved. That feature will certainly be coming back in future races once the officials sort out what's the best way to use the feature so that marbles who take the balance very well don't get too much of an advantage. Unfortunately for Marbulus Orontius, the advantage for him is disappeared as Rampage has taken back over the lead and in big strength. The separation is very clear, and now Marbulus has other problems with the likes of El Sol ramming right up behind him, as well as Crimson Lady, who just gets around El Sol. What about Victoria's Secret, who finally reaches the top 5? Is she going to be able to say anything about Marbulus as well? Not much. She hits off that barrier and slows down. Does go to the outside line, but Marbulus cuts her off. Rampage still able to hold clearance on all that commotion behind him. El Sol now back to 5th place. We see Goat, Zero, Blizzard, Sinatra, and Duchess dotting the top 10 as well in the bottom half. And Rampage is seeing more trouble right now. He was slow through that hairpin, and now it's Marbulus to be back on top and separating to the right side. Rampage slow through that barrier, and El Sol's trying to get around but cannot. The cutoff is there from Rampage, and Crimson Lady has finally moving towards the top 3, hoping to see some action as well. That marble booster, by the way, very, very useful. We forget how important that marble booster is keeping the marbles back up to the top of the track each time, but don't forget how important that feature is to the Racing Marble League. Rampage ramming right in through the right side right there, really trying to push Marbulus out of the way, but cannot. Ooh, but he moves to the right side, some finesse right there, and he's got the lead. I don't know for how long, though, as it's been a very high-changing lead race. We're only in lap 11, about halfway, and Marbulus is not slowing down at all. There is some separation here. We get a look at the Muller corner. They both slot into the outside line. El Sol as well. Crimson Lady taking that middle line. I don't know how that will look on the bender. We see some from the likes of Two-Tone, some Wild Canuck in there, Octane leading up the rear with Polyonyx as well. Definitely tough for those 2 marbles today. Quicksilver won race 2 in season 1, finally hitting the top 10. There he is in 10th place right now. But it is Rampage by a large margin, way out in front of the rest of these marbles. Marbulus and El Sol locked in a little bit of a battle. Crimson Lady trying to get around them by taking the inside line, but just loses out on momentum. Marbulus coming right on Rampage. I don't know how, but that huge lead Rampage had only seconds ago has dwindled. Here comes Marbulus for the lead. He can't get it through the first highway sector, though. And Rampage starts to roll away once again. Crimson Lady, ooh, that is a nasty push on El Sol right there. I'm surprised the officials didn't say anything about that, but she couldn't get around him anyway. El Sol has just been a real rookie, showing that he might be racing like a veteran, to be honest. That is some good defensive maneuver from El Sol, who now passes Marbulus and puts himself in a position to head for the lead. Crimson Lady still up there in the top 4, good to see, but struggling to really make any passes. We might have an overlap in front of us as Rampage is coming up on a blue marble. I guess Blue Marble Gang did not bring their best today. I'm not really sure which blue marble that is. It could be Two-Tone, but I think that might be Two-Tone there back in the mid-pack. It is not Serpent Smart, as we just saw Serpent Smart drop out of the top 10. So who is that blue marble that Rampage is coming so close to? And we'll have to see. Looks like Sinatra is also up there in the top 10 as well, so that rules him out. And we have another marble that might be overlapped as well. That looks like it could be Wild Canuck or Predator. That one definitely looks like Predator. So Predator and the Mystery Blue Marble are doing all they can to keep themselves from getting rammed into the side by Rampage, who is coming with all the ferocity that he brought from the first lap, and now he's right on the blue marble, nudges him forward, and does not get around. Ooh, yes he does, on the inside line, and cuts him off, and it is Two-Tone. Two-Tone definitely looking a little darker out on the track today. Maybe it's just the way the light glints off his glass, but Two-Tone is now overlapped by Rampage. And I gotta say, Marbulus, Orontius, and El Sol, and even Crimson Lady are coming with speed here. Crimson Lady is your second place racer, and she's gonna try to take a race finally in the Racing Marble League Season 2. Let's see if she can do it. We have a few laps to go, and Rampage is doing all he can to hold on. Two-Tone will certainly provide a complication into that racing aspect for Crimson Lady, as she will have to get around him before she worries about Rampage. She does get around him, but Two-Tone is still racing as fast as he can, and he might be able to catch up. She takes the inside line of that Muller corner, dodges outside on the beam, and rolls fast underneath Rampage and gets the lead. Crimson Lady close now to taking a 4th win ever in the Racing Marble League, and that will show true dominance, not only dominating in Season 1, but now putting some points up on the board on the first place spot in Season 2. She's got 1 lap to hold that lead. Can she do it? Not happening right now, though, as Rampage does get back the lead, and it's going to be all in the final lap to see what goes on here. Two-Tone trying to put himself into the commotion, but cannot. Crimson Lady now coming on the near side of Rampage, but get hit back. Good defensive maneuver by Rampage to put her behind. Victoria's Secret now to 3rd place, followed by El Sol, Sinatra, Marbulus, Zero, Quicksilver Goat, and Duchess, who dot that top 10 spots. And Predator now close to getting overlapped as well. Crimson Lady trying to push at the end. Rampage still holding her off. Crimson Lady on the bottom. Can she make up the ground? No! Rampage will win race 2 of the Racing Marble League. And Crimson Lady will be able to run in 2nd, followed by Sinatra, El Sol, who took over Victoria's Secret, who had 3rd going into the last lap. Marbulus led for a while, but not able to hold on. Back to 6, Zero, Quicksilver Goat, Wild Canuck, Duchess, Serpent Smart, Blizzard, Trixie, Accidental Genius, Luminous, Octane, Polyonics, Tigger, and the last 2 we should know, Predator and Two-Tone, as they finally get across. That will be your standings for race 21. And Rampage did everything he could and succeeded in keeping Crimson Lady from taking over race 2. Good work by him, as well as Sinatra, El Sol, Victoria's Secret, and Marbulus, who we all saw in the top 10 for a while. A lot of commotion between the two, and just some luck that they did not end up at the top today. And remember, Crimson Lady picking up the extra points for the pole position, and Rampage extra points for leading for the most amount of laps over the course of the 20-lap race here at the Southside Marble Raceway. Octane down towards the bottom of the standings. A tough race for him today. To take a look at the standings, as you can see, Rampage and Crimson Lady now hold the overall top spots. You can sift through the numbers and see that Octane is still not ending up very high with 53 and 45. Rampage and Crimson Lady, El Sol with 37. And Serpent Smart with 33. Octane dropped quickly from 1st to 5th place overall, and with many marbles really knocking on the door right behind him. Sinatra with 30, Zero and Quicksilver within the high 20s. And Octane's going to be in jeopardy if he can't pull it around in race 3. Crimson Lady now only a few points from holding the overall season victory, overall season lead to say better. And Rampage, a rookie, coming out strong here in race 2. Huge defensive maneuvers out there on the track and easily holding the top spot right now. That'll be all for today's video, and we'll see you next time in the Racing Marble League.